Welcome to Top Tier Wrestling, your ultimate destination for all things WWE. Whether you're a hardcore wrestling fanatic or just a casual viewer, we've got you covered with the latest news, in-depth show reviews, and our unfiltered opinions on everything happening in the world of professional wrestling. Get ready to step into the ring with us and stay on top of the wrestling world. This is Top Tier Wrestling. Welcome to Top Tier Wrestling. I'm your host, Hangman Josh Page, and with me is Timeless Dawn Storm. And today we're diving into AEW All Out. Let's get into it.
Yes.
Now, for this massive pay-per-view, as is AEW's want, this is a big one. We're getting 10 matches and I think 5 championships out of this. And I'll just say up front, this was incredible and insane all at the same time.
Yeah. Insane. Like, I thought All In was gonna be rocking, and it was, but All Out, like, they literally went all out.
Like all out.
Sometimes I felt a little too all out, but they went all out.
I agree. No one can ever argue that AEW is leaving people like not having gotten enough wrestling for what they paid. It is insane how much they give you. But this pay-per-view, I have to think about it. Pay-per-view versus PLE. This pay-per-view is brought to us from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and we've got on the commentary team, at least for the moment, Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, and Bryan Danielson. And we open up seeing Christian Cage and Adam Copeland arriving at the arena, where they kind of run through this skit of, like, I guess, famous Canadians. One of them's a hockey guy, and the other one was a comedy guy that I'm personally not familiar with, but it was a funny skit. And that leads us right into match 1, which is Christian Cage and Adam Copeland versus FTR with Stokely Hathaway. And would you like to give your thoughts on this match, or should I?
Sure, I can go. Like as we said, Christian Cage and Adam Copeland versus FTR with Stokely No Hose Hathaway.
Zero hose.
Zero hose. I thought it was a great opening match. There was lots of storytelling. We ended up seeing in some capacity Beth Copeland. And I'm wondering if she's gonna be all elite. I would be very happy about it. You know, I mean, she could be like, yo, I only do this part-time, you know. But if she decided she was gonna go all elite, I would probably be ecstatic. She is awesome. But yeah, overall, this was a great opening match. I was a little iffy about it because I'm not too crazy about the heel versions of FTR. As face wrestlers, they are more entertaining to me only because of the antics they get up to, and only because of the people that they include in some of their matches. Honestly, they aren't like my favorites. I'm not saying that they suck. They don't suck, but they're not my favorite wrestlers. And I'm not too crazy about their versions of heels, but I guess adding Stokely gives them a little more condescending prickness that they're kind of missing from their face run. So overall, I can live with them as heels, especially if they're doing work with Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. Because again, this was a really good opener. Yeah, it was really good, really strong opener, I should say.
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting to me. I would love to see Beth Copeland become all elite, assuming that she wants anything to do with returning to in-ring action full time.
Right.
She might be perfectly happy just showing up here and there. But the reason I find it amusing that it suggested to you that is that I'm hearing on the internet that uh, on AEW's Dynamite, the segment that Cope and Christian had where Copeland was all like, "Oh, I can't do this," blah blah blah.
Uh-huh.
Um, I only say it that way because I'm about to talk about this match, and Dynamite came after. I'm not trying to give it away too soon, but after that segment, a lot of the internet is like, "Is Copeland coming back to the WWE?" That's how they read that.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's
that's
a
right. Yeah.
weird contrast.
Yeah, and that's because there's been rumors, speculations, if you will, that WWE wants Edge to come back for something. Not like permanent. So I'm not really sure how they're gonna work that out. And if they were to do something like that, that would signal to me that AEW and WWE are trying to work together on some things, which would really raise the eyebrows. So, yeah.
Well, in the history of AEW and WWE, AEW has never shown a problem. Um, like it recognizes that talent came from elsewhere, had a career elsewhere, and made their names elsewhere in a lot of cases, and
Yeah.
it doesn't have a problem like letting the talent send messages or show up over there if it's for like John Cena's retirement or something along those lines. Like when Randy Orton had his 20th anniversary, people in AEW under AEW contract were allowed to send video messages and whatnot. Like the the tension between AEW and WWE, or the willingness to work with or acknowledge the existence of the other, is entirely one-sided from the side of WWE. So
Yeah.
there would be plenty of opportunity for that kind of crossover if it were up to AEW based on everything we've seen. It's
Sure.
WWE that pretends that the other guys don't exist and that they're not competition, yet they counter
Yeah.
program against them and constantly, like, they won't let Brie Bella back because, so it's WWE that's like
Well,
got the
she should
stick
have.
up their butt.
Hey, listen, she should have married Brian Danielson. I don't know what.
Yeah, obviously.
Don't marry the enemy.
Yeah, and so yeah. So I think AEW could work with it if Edge wanted to make an appearance over
Oh
there.
yeah, of course. It's
They
never
wouldn't
them.
have that problem. It's exclusively on WWE's end of things.
Yeah, absolutely. But maybe if they if they can quit pretending like no other promotion exists and then clamoring to come up with a half-ass PLE to counteract something that AEW had in works for over a year now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
and
no,
then
no,
and then
All
they're
Out isn't a
shocked.
surprise out of nowhere PLE or pay-per-view.
Yeah, then they're shocked that their PLE came off as rushed bullshit because it's rushed bullshit.
Yeah. Yep.
and and
But
and and
oh,
you rush through that kind of shit, and you put the careers and the livelihoods and the health of your wrestlers on the line so that you can compete with a company that you aren't competing with.
yep.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
You
But
could just, I don't know, give us good programming, but I digress. You were saying.
turning my attention to my thoughts on this match, it was a banger.
Yeah.
And one of the highlights of it for me during the match, most of the people on the internet who are fans of wrestling realized that John Cena recently gave sort of an in-ring tribute to Edge,
Yeah.
hitting the spear, and I think even an execution at one point. Well, Copeland responded by hitting a flawless five knuckle shuffle and an attitude adjustment on Dax of FTR. And it was the coolest thing ever. Like, it's that kind of fan service that is wonderful. Like that was just cool. And
Yeah.
then later in the match, to counteract Stokely's interference, Beth Copeland shows up, comes down the entrance ramp, and then proceeds to spear the soul out of Stokely.
Yeah. His
Like
shoes were
he died.
left.
Like that, but Stokely should be thrilled. That's probably the closest thing to a woman touching him, like, or that is the last time a woman's touched him. So
Gross.
hey, you know. Um, but she then picks him up and carries him away to the back, which was fantastic. And then,
That's got to be embarrassing as a full grown ass man.
I mean,
I'm
that's
just
the
saying.
point, isn't it?
I know. I know. That's got to
That
be like,
Stokely is an
damn.
embarrassment of a full grown ass man.
Damn. I'm not.
Um,
I know I'm not getting carried away. Damn. Oh, you
but
love to see it.
after a decent back and forth kind of a match, Copeland hits kind of a short spear out of the corner, if I recall correctly. And I mean, it looked good, but it was a quick one, and um, it, I want to say it was Cash was trying to get back into the ring, and Cage kind of distracted him or held on to him, and they were able to pick up the win. Now, after the match, the matriarch comes out onto the stage, and Cage and Copeland are obviously distracted by this, which allows FTR to start attacking them from behind. And then while recovering kind of in the corner, Kip Sabian's able to get over there and handcuff Copeland to the, I want to say it was the bottom rope, but it might have been the middle rope. It's hard to remember. Um, and in so doing, they force Copeland to basically watch as FTR delivers a spike pile driver to Beth Phoenix, who refused to stand down when they were going to attack Copeland while he was handcuffed. So she starts whooping their asses, and they in turn give her a spike pile driver.
Yeah.
And that sets the stage for the aforementioned Dynamite comments where Copeland shows up and he says, "Look, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I can't do this again. It's happened before," making reference to back when it occurred with the Judgment Day spot in WWE. That Beth ends up getting her ass kicked or injured because of what's going on in Copeland's career. And so he says to Christian Cage, "I can't do this. I got to go." And Cage says, "Well, I don't have any family anymore," referencing the loss of the patriarchy. And he says, "But go take care of yours." And Copeland, that statement hits Copeland kind of badly. He looks a little hurt by it, and he says, "No, you have family." And he shakes hands with Christian Cage. So it was really good storytelling, kind of a moment. And I'm not sure why people would think that translates to him needing to run back to the WWE. um, but it was altogether a cool opening segment, and some cool storytelling here.
Yeah. Yeah. Really
But
well thought.
I tremendously appreciated that he did a perfect version of the five knuckle shuffle and the attitude adjustment as a nod to Cena. That was
Yeah.
real cool. And following that, we are brought into our second match of the night, which is Big Bill with Brian Keith, the Bad Apple, in tow, and a returning after a very long absence from, if I recall, knee surgery. Is that right?
I think so.
Eddie
Yeah.
Kingston. And um it was a good enough match, I think. I felt a little let down because we were all hyped up about like Kingston, and they showed him in like these workout montages, and like we thought he was going to come back like super jacked, and none of that really played out. And the match he
Yeah.
had with Big Bill was okay. Um but
Yeah.
um that's kind of my thoughts on it. I've got a little more, but go ahead.
Well, I don't have much to say about it. It was a fun match. I was excited that Eddie Kingston was back. It's good to see him, but it wasn't the best match of the night. I kind of felt like it could have been something that was on Collision. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really all I have to say.
Yeah. And I don't, maybe it's just me, but I'm not wowed by the like kind of spinning back fist finisher that Kingston uses. Like to me, it's not convincingly a finishing move.
It looks all right if he hits it, but I mean, he has to hit it. It's gotta sound like a firecracker. Whenever that happens, it's awesome, but it wasn't very awesome. Uh, at all out. It just didn't have the same. I don't know. It was an okay match, but would I have put that match on a pay-per-view? No. No, especially if there's already 10 matches there. Um it would have to be something that's going to be worthwhile. And I'm not saying that it was a horrible match. It wasn't. But when you think of all the other matches that came after it, it just doesn't fit
Yeah.
with the PPV. It just doesn't. It was a good collision dynamite match at best. And even on dynamite it would have been like, that was all
Yeah.
right. It's all
Yeah.
right.
So I mean,
I'm not trying to bury either one of these guys, but it was just okay.
well, I feel like I've seen better out of both,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Is my takeaway, and you're right. Like for what else goes on the rest of the card, this match wasn't in the same league.
Mm-mm.
That said, I'm with you. I'm not trying to bury Bill or Kingston. Certainly not when he's just come back. But I got to be honest. I mean, this just wasn't like that impactful of a match. Now, what happened after the match was pretty fun. After the match, Keith and Bill start attacking Kingston, and Hook is the one who comes in for the save. So you got kind of this like, hey, two New York guys working together.
Yeah.
And we had heard from Hook in a previous promo that, it's time for me to go it alone. Or is it? So,
Yeah.
like, is this what he was talking about? Is it like Hook and Kingston are going to like start doing like a tag thing
Now,
or
no,
a
no
stable
shit.
thing?
No shit. I'd be here for that. I would like to see that. I think Kingston is one of those. Kingston is kind of AEW Sami Zayn. Um, he like the fans love him. He's wiry. He's got a lot of spunk. He don't take no shit. He fights back until you're thinking this guy's done, and he just keeps going. He's that guy. So him and Hook, I could see that as being a pretty New York type New York type faction or tag team or whatever they're gonna do with it.
Yeah, I'm certainly curious to see where it goes. But yeah, when Hook came out, he proceeds to like whoop ass on everybody, and him and Kingston end up leaving like kind of like one arm around the other dude, and so you've got like this potentially new faction. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
And moving on from there, we have a absolutely insane match that took place next, which is tables and tacks
Oh,
between
jeez.
MJF and Mark Briscoe, who for the past several weeks have been actually
Trying
maybe
to
even longer than that for maybe like a month or more. They've been building like this super hate feud between
been
one
trying to
another
kill each other. Yeah.
because MJF keeps coming out there and saying things like the wrong Briscoe died and shit like that. And so Mark Briscoe has
Oh, well,
promised
shit.
MJF an ass whooping the likes of which he has never experienced. And man, they delivered. They absolutely delivered. Like for those not familiar with what a tables and tacks match is, it means you can use tables and the ring is absolutely covered in fucking thumbtacks. And I think what went a long way with this particular match is that both men, especially MJF, were reverent of these tacks. Like they acted like neither one of them, they did not want to get slammed on those tacks. They didn't,
Yeah.
they tried to make their opponent eat the tacks. And so the tacks ended up being actually kind of a third character in the ring, and it was
Yeah.
fantastic. And these guys did crazy shit to each other. Like there was a power bomb onto the tags, back body drops repeatedly onto the tags. Like the thing that would expose the most surface area of your backside to tags was done. and a few other ones like exposure to more sensitive areas or feeding them to one another. It was insane, and I was really pleased with it. Like this was the blood match, but it wasn't as gory as some of the matches. For some reason, this wasn't to
Yeah,
me as like psychologically gory as like say I don't know taking a syringe and putting it through another guy's cheek, that kind of stuff.
yeah,
So like this is a match where there was blood, but it wasn't like as intensely psychological.
yeah.
In many respects, it was humorous. Like if MJF got dropped in the tax and then proceeded to start selling it ridiculously because his back is full of tax, it was funny.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Um, and I mean, outside of just going into detail about the crazy shit they did to one another in the ring, I think the other thing that was very pleasing for me and very satisfying was that Briscoe was able to get a definitive win against MJF. That's a big win. MJF is like a top guy, and I'm not
Yeah.
saying Briscoe isn't, but he isn't always booked like he is. And so
No.
Briscoe being able to catch this win over MJF was phenomenal, and it was so cathartic for the crowd. I mean, who wanted to see MJF just get his comeuppance here. And I mean, I think it was like two Froggy Bows and a Jay Driller all on tax that put MJF down for the count.
Yeah.
So, very good match. Very, very good match.
Yeah. This was the beginning of the absolutely insane matches for me. Uh, and there was more great storytelling here. I just want to say MJF is truly, truly a generational talent. Um, I could see that man in Hollywood, uh, doing just fine. Like honestly, he's a great actor. He's a great seller of moves. He's a great wrestler. He is the he can do. I can't think of anything that MJF can't do in the ring. Mark Briscoe is another fantastic wrestler. He strikes me as someone who wrestles more emotionally than anything else. I don't know if that makes any sense,
It does.
but
It does.
yeah, he just kind of gets out there and goes crazy with it, and it's fantastic to watch. I'd watch Mark Briscoe go against Eddie Kingston and find that enjoyable. I think. I am slightly surprised that Briscoe won. Don't get me wrong, as you said, I think Briscoe is a fantastic wrestler, but sometimes, like you said, he's not booked like a winner. I think before this, one of the biggest wins he had was against Kyle Fletcher, who ain't no fucking joke.
No, Kyle
Um,
Fletcher is probably the next big thing, if we're being honest. He just
that's
needs
the
socks.
future of AEW. Yeah, just he needs socks. Like no talking to Gunther, none of that European bullshit. Put some socks on for fuck's sake. Um, your feet will thank you, and so will all of your shoes, and so will your uh uh clothing directors or dressers if you have any. You know, if you got people that put clothes on you or put your shit together, they'll really appreciate you wearing socks on your
Yep.
stinky cheesy feet.
Yeah,
Um,
people with noses all 100% uniformly agree that cheese feet are no bueno.
yeah, nobody wants palm toes, but nobody wants to smell palm toes or feta feet.
No.
Nobody wants that.
No, not the feta feet.
No, the exact same, my friend. Like I said, I am surprised that Briscoe won, but I think I know why, especially after watching Dynamite and his promo that he cut. Uh I think he's gonna be leaving for a few, probably on honeymoon, with his lovely new wife. So I think that's why he lost so that he could cut his promo and then just go on and take his time, however long that it's gonna be. But overall, fantastic match and I don't think Briscoe winning squashed MJF at all. That was really a great way to put two big names in the ring and do both of them justice, no matter who won and who lost. So yeah, wonderful, fantastic.
Yep, completely agree. And the bangers just begin there. I mean, the next matchup is Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. Now known, they've got a faction name. They're called the Demand. And what was it? How did Ricochet put it? When you're in demand, you can make demands.
Yeah.
So pretty
Aha.
good. So it's yeah, right. Aha. And so the Demand versus the Hurt Syndicate. And this was a particularly interesting one because we get MVP actually, strapping up and being a full blown member, not just the mouthpiece.
Yeah.
And man, these 6 men all went pretty good. Like MVP can still go, and it was fun to watch.
May I?
Absolutely.
My what I have to say about this match is very brief. Uh and I'd be very excited to hear your take, but all I have to say is AEW has done a fantastic job at making the Hurt Syndicate shine as alpha dog dominant men in the tag team division. So they really had to be careful with how they portrayed a defeat with these guys. And that's all, like, I've always been like, man, how are they gonna fucking do it? I always, for ever since we've been watching AEW, one of my biggest gripes has been the fact that they can't do storytelling. I don't know where people are getting this. They can't book. I don't know where people get that shit. I'm not seeing it. I well, let me rephrase it. I'm not seeing that it really anymore with AEW. Maybe they fired some people and maybe WWE hired them because I think they're having issues right now with booking, but I digress. Um, but this was brilliant. Um, they had to be careful with how they portrayed a defeat, and they were. And they also had to make Gates of Agony or the Demand look like the team strong enough and clever enough to even defeat the Hurt Syndicate, and they did all of that in this match. They did a fantastic job. They handled. I was impressed from beginning to end with how this match was handled, right down to who got pinned and when and where and why. Ricochet is amazing, and
Brilliant. Yeah.
we would have never seen him be this fantastic had he not come to AEW. Um, So it's a treat to finally get to see the true, like, what we've been missing, you know? We only got little sparks, little glimpses of who Ricochet was in the other the other promotion. This is a much more engaging. Uh I look forward to seeing Ricochet now. Um where he
Bald.
was just kind of like an afterthought. Bald, he was kind of just like an afterthought in WWE. And again, I'm not trying to go after WWE, repeatedly. But I'm saying without like any malice here, I'm saying that I think that he's booked better here. I think he has a better presentation, a better character, more freedom, and it shows in the ring. And same thing with Gates of Agony. I feel like they would have just disappeared had they not been, or had they not been here in AEW. You know what I mean?
I do.
But yeah, but that's it. That's all I wanted to say. This was a great match, this was a great match for many reasons. But one of the most important to me was how it was booked and how the story was written or played out. I It was smart, very smart, very smart to me.
I I basically agree with everything you just said, to be quite honest. The way this was booked, you were always going to have an uphill battle trying to deal with Lashley and Benjamin. MVP is just a cherry on top, like a
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu black belt, and the guy can still go.
yeah,
Um,
no joke at all.
no, but in a team of heavy hitters, MVP is obviously the one to isolate. And this was the
Yeah.
game plan that Ricochet ran. And Ricochet showed himself to be a strategist here
Mm-hmm.
because if you had tried to take on the Hurt Syndicate head on, go blow for blow and body slam for body slam with Lashley and Benjamin, you aren't going to win. I
Nah.
mean, no offense to Bishop Khan and Toa Leone, who Toa has gotten just like bigger and stronger looking, and he's dropped a bunch of like, the bad kind of weight. And so they look strong, and Toa can kind of get in there and hammer it back and forth with Lashley.
Yeah.
But the way they ended up going about winning was they essentially got Benjamin and Lashley over by the announce table and flung them over the announce table, taking both of them out of the equation, which allowed, I think it was Bishop Khan and Ricochet to pretty much double team MVP, who was the legal man. And while MVP fought real hard and he looked real strong, like there was a second there where I thought he was about to hit his finish on Ricochet, the numbers got him. And so
Yeah.
this really came down to the Hurt Syndicate got outmaneuvered.
Yeah.
And that was brilliant because you're not going to out pound them. Like you're not going to out hurt the Hurt Syndicate. You're just
No.
not. That wouldn't have been believable. So by taking the two most powerful guys out of the equation and then double teaming MVP, you still sell the idea that if you try and deal with Lashley and Benjamin forward facing, you're not going to win. So
Yeah.
you had to do an end run, and that's exactly what Ricochet did. He outsmarted them, and
Yeah.
that made the demand look dangerous without burying the Hurt Syndicate. It didn't even
Yep.
bury MVP, who was looking
Nope.
shiny like a diamond until the numbers game got him. So this was brilliantly booked, and it was a hell of a match.
Yeah.
I mean, it found a way to make the demand look crafty and not make the Hurt Syndicate look fucking weak. And it was beautiful. It made it look more like this is really the only way you're going to beat the Hurt Syndicate, but you found it, so well fucking done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Fantastic.
a hell of a match. This was a great match, and I look forward to seeing what Ricochet and the Gates of Agony, now known as the Demand, can do going forward. Because you're absolutely right. These are three men that would have vanished in the WWE. Ricochet, we know for a fact that was the case, and the Gates of Agony is the type of tag team. I mean, WWE ain't great with tag teams as is, but this
No.
is the type that would have like disappeared, got bumped
Yeah.
down to NXT, and then let go.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't have known exactly kind of what to do with them. I don't think
Yeah. I'm
so.
surprised Motor City Machine Guns didn't just kind of vanish. They started out strong. I'm a little concerned now, but I think so far WWE has handled them fairly well. But you're right. Like they are suffering in the tag team division. That's not the point of the show today, but I'm just saying that I do agree that
Yeah,
that needs a little bit of help.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want to filter everything AEW is doing through a WWE lens, but
Right. Right.
WWE being the much more seen and known about product,
Yeah.
sometimes the comparisons help relate what we're talking about. So it's just kind of unavoidable.
Yeah.
But trust me, AEW is having no problems, especially here in 2025, standing all on its own. They are leading the game when it comes to showing you where the best wrestle and what pay-per-views are worth buying.
Yeah.
Like they are
Seriously.
absolutely dominating that game. Like you can't argue otherwise without just being delusional. Like they
Yeah.
are the fucking guys when it comes to a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Um But yeah, this was a phenomenal match. Absolutely excellent. And it's one of many. Like this is match 4 out of 10. We haven't even hit the halfway mark yet.
Yeah.
And the worst thing we can say, because everything's been a banger except for the Kingston Big Bill match, was that match was just okay. It wasn't like it sucked. It was
Yeah.
just okay, and everything
But
else around it was like
yes.
exceptional.
Yeah. 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 That could have been a fantastic match, but not with a list like this.
No,
Just
not when 9 out of 10 of the matches of the night are all main events.
yeah, yeah, and some of them were just surprisingly good, like the
Like,
one after this.
yep, that's that. Yeah, you got it. Like the next match was the one that I had the lowest expectations for going into it and was pleasantly surprised by, and that is the AEW TBS Championship match between Mercedes Moné
Mm,
and Riho. And would you like to lead off on this one?
sure, yeah, yeah. I the first point I think I've already said, but I'll say it again. This was better than I expected it to be. Um, and I have nothing against Riho personally, but she really was not one of my favorites. That I've seen from New Japan. Only because I have a hard time, just like with Selena Gomez, I have a hard time
Vega,
believing. I'm sorry, what did I say? Gomez.
Zelina Gomez, which is a singer.
Selena, yes.
Yeah, Zelina Vega. Yeah, yeah.
Selena Vega. Just like with Vega. Thank you. Um kind of under the weather, so excuse me. Um but just like with her, watching someone that small perform moves on someone who's like usually twice their size, uh it's kind of hard to, you know, put my head in the mindset of, oh yeah, that's possible. uh Especially with how they fight most of the time, and that's a complaint or a gripe that I have with a lot of female wrestlers, but not a lot of small male wrestlers. And I think that's because they do something a little bit different than the female wrestlers do. Smaller male wrestlers like Adam, oh my god, his last name. Uh from AEW, the one that's out right now.
Cole, Adam Cole.
Adam Cole, thank you so much. All I could think in my head was the boom.
Boom. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you'd have thought I was talking about that guy and his son. And I'm like, no. But
No.
but Adam Cole does something uh because he's smaller, he uses his legs. He and I mean he will chop you down eventually with his legs because that's the strongest part of his body. Where I don't really get that kind of, I feel like I don't get that kind of thought whenever there are two female competitors. I think they want us to believe that just because they're having a match and they're both female, that they are immediately on equal on an equal power scale, and their size is a bit more irrelevant, which is just not the case. But Riho, in this match, I think she's gained a little weight, to be honest, maybe like 20 pounds or so, which I'm a okay with. She looked good, and not only in her like appearance, you know, she looked healthy, but she looked good in this match. This match, and like I said, better than I thought it was gonna be, and Riho was actually impressive. Um, Monet looked coherent. She looked strong. She didn't look sloppy. She didn't look lazy or lackluster, like she didn't want to be there. uh she looked like she was actually in a match, like she was competing with someone for something. The audience, and I've seen this in a lot of online comments, the audience kind of wasn't there for it, and I agree. I think they picked this match to go get snacks or go use the bathroom or something. Honestly, there was a lot of like silence, but also a lot of the just like chattering that people do when they're moving around. There was a lot of that, which kinda took the luster from the match. The audience is a huge selling point in matches. They give, you know, like they pretty much push or direct the energy. So that kind of felt weird, but if just looking at the match, it was good. It was, I tell you this, it was better than the Kingston and Big Bill
Yep.
match.
Yep.
Um, and I think the only problem that I maybe people weren't interested is because I don't think anybody thought Riho was gonna win.
Nope.
Uh,
Nope.
some
Foregone conclusion.
Yeah, so maybe they kind of treated this like a throwaway match or like and that's all I'll say about that. This was yet another match that could have been done on Dynamite. Um, I don't think I know why they had it on this PPV. They had it here because it's Mercedes Moné. She's a huge selling point. And it was for the TBS championship. So I get it.
Yeah.
But I honestly feel like it still could have been a match that was on a Dynamite, like the main event. But uh, overall, it was a good match.
Yeah, I had really low expectations here because one, I haven't been that much of a fan of Mercedes Moné since she hit AEW. Like I
Yeah,
feel like her in-ring performances were really pretty bad for a long time, and they've only just in the near recent, like maybe just in 2025, really picked up to where it's like, okay, now I see why they're paying her money.
yeah. Any
And
money.
I unfortunately have never been impressed with Riho. And I was impressed with both of them actually in this match. They
Yeah,
really put on a banger. It might be really helpful for Mercedes Moné when she's wrestling someone who's closer to her weight class.
yeah,
Because she looked better, I think, because she wasn't struggling. Like she's for the first time, and I think the announcers even mentioned it. Like it's the rare occasion that Mercedes has the power advantage because Riho is smaller than her.
yeah.
Um, and Riho really showed out here. Like she really performed well. Um, so I was pleasantly surprised, and because it was a foregone conclusion, like I agree. Like nobody looked at this and thought, "Oh, Mercedes is going to lose to Riho." No one did. Literally, no one. I
Yeah.
don't even think Riho thought that going into this match. And so because it was kind of a foregone conclusion, the only thing to get this match over would be the in-ring performance and the strength of Mercedes Moné's popularity, which while I'm not a fan, similar to CM Punk, I'm not a fan of his, but he is wildly popular. Mercedes is wildly popular. Like she is one of the most over female wrestlers with like female and young girl fans anywhere. So just because I don't like her doesn't mean it ain't popular, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you take all that, and what was left was we needed a good in-ring performance, and they gave us one. I
Yeah,
mean, this was a legitimately good match, one of the better ones with Mercedes. Not her best. I think that was between her and Tony Storm, if I'm quite honest.
yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
it was a good match.
Yeah.
Like, I am pleased to not say that the stinking whole match of the night was one that Mercedes was in. It's now not a foregone conclusion that the worst match of the night will be one that Mercedes is in, and I'm here for that. I'm glad of that. And she performed well, and Riho performed well. They put on a good match. It might not have had a lot of stakes because, again, nobody thought Riho was going to win. But I don't think anybody thought Riho was going to bring the fight to Mercedes like she did, and she did. So I'm gonna have to say this was a good match, and I agree with you. It was better, unfortunately, than Kingston and Big Bill.
Yeah.
So this was a pleasant surprise. This was a sleeper match, and I think it caught the crowd off guard, which is why they were asleep.
Yeah. Ow. Yeah, I think so. They were just like,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think anybody was expecting it, but they should have been ready. You stay ready.
No, but I'm well pleased that I don't have a single criticism related to Mercedes Monet in this pay-per-view at all.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
did great. Riho did great. It was a very solid match.
Mm-hmm.
The only ding against it was foregone conclusion, and that's fine. I mean, they still put on a heck of a match.
Yeah.
Um, but that leads us into the sixth match of the night, which is the AEW Unified Championship match. The defending Kazuchika Okada versus Mascara Dorada versus Konosuke Takeshita. And this has some interesting elements just going in to it because Konosuke and Kazuchika are both members of the Don Callis family, and those two dudes have like a hate rivalry forming within the same stable. So immediately the psychology going in is that Takeshita and Okada, it's going to be a battle between them, and Mascara Dorada is just going to get thrown out the ring. And the match even starts that way, where both of these men try to just keep tossing
Yeah.
Dorada out of the ring. Um, and Dorada's not having it. This Dorada was the sleeper for me in this one. I didn't know what to expect out of him, and I was absolutely fucking blown away that not only did he hang in there with these two Japanese titans in Takeshita and Okada, but he damn near stole the show.
Yeah. No, he did. Um, I'm sorry. May I?
Yeah, absolutely, go
Okay.
for it.
Yeah, I knew that this match was going to be a lot about Okada versus Takeshita. But Dorada would not be ignored.
No,
Uh, like he kept getting the best so much that I was like, wait a minute, is Dorada gonna pull out this victory right now? Like, is
yeah,
he gonna be
precisely.
the dude to win it? Um, I mean, honestly, it was like a few times there. Oh shit! Oh what? Oh! And then Okada or Takeshi would come in and do something, but plenty of time. There were plenty of times that I thought Dorada was gonna pull out the victory.
Right?
Um,
Like the sneaky win, and it's like that's the kind of surprise that can happen in AEW. So the whole time we're on the edge of our seats going, holy shit, is Dorada gonna
yeah,
win this thing? When he's the
yes.
guy that nobody thought should even be in this match? Holy crap.
Yeah. And there's two things that I want to say about this match. Great, fantastic heat building between Okada and Takeshita.
Agreed.
And I cannot wait until that pot of hate boils over, man. I think Okada, I mean, I'm sorry, I think Don Callis might get splashed in the face. Uh I think it's going to blow up on him and I can't wait.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all I
I
want to
I
say.
fully agree. I'm waiting for that powder to keg, and I think that's gonna be great. But this is another bit of booking that was absolutely brilliant. Because I mean, you're already looking at like a dangerous, like you got to book it in such a way that neither Takeshita or Okada looks bad. But they booked it in such a way that nobody looked bad. Like
Yeah,
Dorado, like this was his magnum opus here in AEW. Like if he wasn't on your radar, he is the fuck now.
yeah,
And this was a brilliant putting over of Mascara Dorada, while Takeshita and Okada and Dorada gave us a goddamn banger. Like this was a sit on the edge of your seat because whoever gets the next big move while the third man is even halfway unable to make the save is going to win. And that's kind of how it ended up going.
yeah,
It ended up finishing when Okada, the strategist, the best tournament wrestler in history, was able to counter Takeshita's throw at the ropes with a huge drop kick, like a big one that like made Takeshita's head bounce off the bottom rope and he had to roll out. And then he was getting intercepted by Mascara Dorada, and he counters out of that into the Rainmaker, like a brutal looking one that just inside out boyed Dorada. And it was because Takeshita was stuck outside the ring after getting hit with that massive drop kick that Okada was able to get enough time to get that 3 count on Dorada. But it was like a nail biter the whole time. Like, who's going to take it? Because it could go any of these three ways. They made you believe that any of these three men, if they just get the one opening they need, was going to win that title. And Okada was in severe jeopardy, and he managed to pull it out just by the skin of his teeth. It was
yeah,
a very hard fought win, and all three of these men just looked like fucking badasses for having fought in it.
yep, yeah. Could
And
not agree
again,
more.
if you weren't aware of Mascara Dorada before, if you see this match, you'll be like, well, now that motherfucker is someone to look for. Like next time
Yeah,
he's in a match, you're gonna be like, hey, don't discount this Dorada guy.
yeah. Don't count him out.
But another fantastic banger of a match. Like this several of these could have been the main event on any given night. And this is another one. And I mean, the AEW Unified Championship, they fought like their lives depended on it. It was really good.
Yeah.
Speaking of fighting for your life, that brings us to match 7, which is the coffin match between John Moxley and Darby. I'm completely suicidal, Allen.
Man, Darby is insane, bro.
He is. He's also got bones made out of rubber.
Darby Allen needs a hug. Yeah, and he's part cat.
Yeah.
But he needs a hug and some cookies. And call your mom, Darby. Go home, take a nap, skateboard, chill out. You're insane. That death match between John Moxley was just as brutal as I'd assumed it would be. I reiterate, Darby is insane. And the only other note that I have that I made about this match whilst looking at it is Moxley looked good when he wasn't looking goofy as fuck. If they could just stop him from doing shit like looking at the camera when he's laying on the mat, if they could stop him from doing like this weird surly like fucking I just farted face and nobody knows about it. If they could stop him from doing that kind of shit, that would be just aces. But nobody jeopardizes Moxley like Moxley. Yeah, if he could stop doing the goofy shit. But honestly, other than that, just the actual match itself was crazy. Uh, fucking Darby got yeeted. So Darby got yeeted out the ring, and I thought, well, you know, I guess he can learn how to use a wheelchair. Um, he's he seems bright enough to pick that up. But no, honestly, that match was crazy, and Darby, honestly, he makes me he triggers um he triggers the mom concern in me, and I think maybe other women could understand. I don't know, but the parent it triggers a parent response in me, where I want to sit him down and ask him if he's okay. You been doing the drugs, young man? Like, I just want to talk to him, give him a stern talking to, tell him that he needs to be home by like 11 on weekdays. I don't know what it is, but I just need him to calm down a little sometimes. Just calm down a little. The
Yeah.
the 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 getting yeeted, man. Them tosses that he's been doing, the coffin drops, like he's absolutely fearless.
Yeah.
With his body,
Completely
man.
lack of fear.
And like it's awe-inspiring but frightening all at the same time. Like it's like, oh my god, that's exciting, but also, you know, do you need a bandage? Do you need what do you need? You know?
Psychological therapy, I think, is the answer.
Yeah, but overall, it was good. Was it anything that we've not seen before from Moxley? No. Uh, or Darby? No, no. But who else are you gonna get to do the coffin drops, the insane coffin drops that Darby Allen does, you know, are the tosses from the ring to the commentary desk or to a coffin down below,
Yeah.
like, or just to the fucking ground. Darby don't give a shit. Just throw him on the. He'll be all right. Throw me on the stairs. I'll bounce. Like I'm telling you, you're not gonna get anybody else to be that, and like that. That's his forte. So it wasn't the brand new, but it didn't have to be. It was a good match for what it was.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. I do think we saw some shit that I've never seen before in this match, but otherwise I fully agree.
Oh, enlighten.
This match was fucking crazy. Um and a lot goes on in this match, and for people that are like saying the AEW doesn't really do long-term storytelling, Some stuff that transpired with the Death Riders and Bryan Danielson ended up coming into play in this match at a certain point. And I don't think I can do this justice without recapping just a little bit. Darby had told Bryan that despite whatever happens, don't directly interfere in the match. And so Bryan is sitting there watching the Death Riders do their Death Rider bullshit, and he's like having a, I promise my word means something. I'm not going to get involved.
Oh, and yeah,
And
he also can't. Just so you guys know, he can't like get into any of these matches. Like he'll be fired. There's also that.
right. But that might be overwhelmed by the fact that, you know, the Death Riders basically in
Yes.
storyline, in the kayfabe, are the reason Daniel Bryanson's not wrestling anymore. And they
Yes.
tried to
True
kill him.
hatred. Yes.
And I
Yes.
have to give credit, like there are many chants that fans will do, but it's only in like Darby Allin and Death Rider matches that we end up with chants like "This is murder." And here's some of the spots that I mean when I say I haven't quite seen these same things. There's a point where John Moxley has one of the coffins, because it's a coffin match. There's two of them outside the ring. He's got one of them, and he stood it up, and it's upright with the door open, and he's standing in front of the opening. And Darby Allin does like a suicide dive through the ropes that takes both him and Moxley into the coffin, and then the door shuts on them. I've never seen that. I've never seen that. That was insane. And
Well,
then, you know, Darby has to fight his way out of it. And, you know, I have seen this, but it's still brutal when it happens. People getting their knuckles slammed in the damn door of the coffin. That just looks mean. Like
yeah.
I'm not sure how you do anything other than just take a racking to your damn knuckles. Then there was the production of a fork. Now, earlier in their encounters, Moxley had taken a fork to Darby Allin's ear in such a way that I thought it looked like he had a piece of undercooked bacon just bleeding profusely off the side of his head. Well, Darby got a hold of Moxley's fork because Moxley brought a damn fork like he always does. And he proceeded to not only carve out a new ear hole for Moxley to get revenge, but in one of the most brutal forkings to the head I've ever seen, he quite literally
Ow.
just repeatedly stabs Moxley in the top of the head like he's going to town on a pincushion. And Moxley then proceeds to just start gushing blood as one would when they've been forked in the head 100 times. I've never seen it done quite that openly. Like usually they're holding the very base of the fork so you can't really see that anything's happening. He wasn't. He was holding the
Uh,
handle and you saw him jamming that fork into Moxley's fucking head.
the last time Moxley got stabbed in the forehead with the fork, you got to see it that way.
Yeah, but not
Um,
with this fervor. Like Allen was just into the top of Moxley's head. Like it was the most overt I have seen it done.
yeah. Okay.
At least for me. I don't recall ever seeing it as overtly as that, and so many times in a row. Like he just was like a typewriter on Moxley's skull with the damn thing.
Who? Wait,
Um,
but we have seen it on AEW though. Was it Moxley? There was somebody where the camera just went there and we watched them get stabbed in the head. Like literally, camera does not pull away, and they just get stabbed in the head repeatedly until
yeah,
blood starts gushing.
no, we have seen it. We have seen it, but it was only like one or two times, right? Like the stabbings was only a couple of times.
Mm,
This was literally Darby going ape shit on him, and that's the difference that I'm trying to describe.
okay.
Like it wasn't like I'm just selling like one or two shots with this fork. Like Moxley said, I am sacrificing my skull meat for this match.
Yeah.
Um and then as the match continues to play out, we've got Marina Shafir and the Death Riders. They show all up, but at some point for some reason, once Moxley has regained control, he sends all of them away. Like I guess he had it. So they end up leaving.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well now it's looking like this is going to be, you know, a more fair fight. I guess Moxley thinks he's got Allen with no help required. Um, and he doesn't, because for a bit there, Darby does end up with the one up. He ends up finding a pipe, and clobbering Moxley with that. And just when it's looking like it's about to be the end for Moxley, we end up with a surprise. Fucking the bastard Pac shows back up after a tremendously long absence. Like, we thought he quit, but he was apparently out injured for quite some time. And so he shows up. His look is different. He's got shorter hair now, so he looks like a little angry gremlin instead of like a punk rock gremlin. And I mean, since it's kind of a no DQ match, he gets in there and he turns the tides. And one of the ways he does it is the aforementioned yeeting of Pac. He basically gets him up in the position for like an outsider edge, or for those familiar, a border toss. And he throws Darby Allin over the top rope out of the ring, directly back first onto the closed second coffin of the match. And this was one of the nastiest bumps I have ever fucking seen. This is one of those this is murder kind of situations.
Yeah.
I remember where Pac interceded now. I'm sorry. And now I remember it. It's because there was a point where Darby was outside of the ring and Daniel Bryanson pulls out a bag from under the announce table.
Yes.
And in that duffel bag is one of those little plastic bags that were used on Bryan Danielson when he was being retired. And so Darby is sitting there, just basically suffocating Moxley. And that's when we got our chance of this is murder. And that was when Pac showed up to turn the tides. And then after that, Pac basically destroys Darby Allin. And I want to say he gets him back into the ring and puts him in a body bag, and then stuffs the body bag into the coffin, and then Moxley kicks the door closed because he's the one that has to do it to win the match, and that's how we end up with Jon Moxley winning. And then after that match, all of the Death Riders come out, and they proceed to take the coffin out of the ring and walk it to the backstage. So Darby Allin is now in a body bag, in a coffin, beat to shit, and kidnapped. And this ends up playing out later in the show, where the cameras cut and go to the Death Riders in the back, and the coffin is right there. And they're like, this is what Darby Allin asked for. It's a shame. I always thought very highly of him, Moxley says, being all self-important and shit. And then he says, well, that's it. Show's over. And they tell the camera guy to fuck off, and the camera guy does not fuck off. And the Death Riders roll away in their Ford F-250 commercial. And Moxley turns to the coffin, and I think he reaches down and was beginning to open it when Darby busts out. He apparently got out of the body bag, and he busts out, and he proceeds to just bean Moxley with the little piece of pipe that he had brought to the ring. And he knocks Moxley to the ground, and then he proceeds to put Moxley in some sort of bag, like not a body bag, but like a big duffel bag, and he zips up most of it, but you can see Moxley's little bald peanut sticking out the other end. Then he takes some kind of accelerant. I don't know if it was kerosene or gasoline or what, but he sprays it all over the bottom side of the bag and proceeds to light fucking Jon Moxley on fire. And Moxley, like, after a few seconds is like, ah! And so immediately in comes somebody with a fire extinguisher, and they're like, no, Darby, this isn't the way. And again, this is murder. So this is the crazy shit. This was the insanity of the Jon Moxley Darby Allin engagement. Yeah. So apparently Darby Allin is willing to set people on fire, which is a prevailing theme, as on Dynamite, he ends up running off all of the Death Riders by bringing a flamethrower out. So, yeah, this was absolutely crazy. And it was all of the wonderful insanity of Darby Allin. I don't know how that dude doesn't have broken everything. Like broken ribs, broken spine. I mean, just taking a straight fall as somebody yeets you out of the ring onto a coffin. Like, it might have been a slightly softer landing than the floor because the metal gives on a coffin, but it was still a solid ass object. Like
Yeah.
Darby is getting to be where he doesn't give a shit, and I'm with you. He needs a hug.
Yeah, he does. Something. Some cookies, maybe some warm milk.
Yeah, yeah, and some painkillers. But uh, this was another freaking ridiculous match, and it would have been a main event on any other show anywhere. It was over the top, like way over the top, setting people on fire, throwing people like 15 feet to a coffin on the ground. Kind of, this was nuts. This was nuts. Um, but it was amazing to watch. Like these are crazy stunts that these guys are pulling off, and it was absolutely a spectacle.
Yeah.
Um, and I gotta say, well done to both the Death Riders and to Darby Allin, and that's not something you'll hear me say often because the Death Riders have for over a year or more now sucked, and this was actually very good.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, following up on that insanity, we are brought to the AEW Women's World Championship, which is the defending Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter versus Tekla versus Chris Statlander. And what were your thoughts on this one?
This was one of the best matches of the night. Um Tony looked good, if not a little arrogant. Like there was a story there where she was a little flunty. Uh Tekla is a female competitor that I can completely understand how she got where she is in AEW so fast. Um cuz she is good. She's that good. Um Statlander you already know. I'm not saying anything about Hater, and I got nothing against Hater, but you know, I mean, she was good. She was good, but the ladies that caught my attention were Tony because it's Tony Storm. She's my favorite. Tekla because Tekla stood out. Tekla was she was kind of like Dorado in the sense
Yeah.
that you didn't expect for her to win, but she kept making her presence known, baby. Uh, and Chris Statlander looked good because she just freaking looks. She's amazing in the ring. Any accomplishments that she receives are well earned. Um, so this match, I was actually looking forward to it. Um, and it did not disappoint. Um, I don't know if it's okay if I say who won. I've been kind of doing that.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Say
Anyway,
whatever you need to say.
but Statlander, I think deserved the victory. It was well earned, and I like the way that it did take place. And people were so excited that didn't even seem very upset that Tony lost, and that's fine because Tony is one of those wrestlers. Like I said, I think you and I were having a discussion, and I said that Tony's one of those female competitors that doesn't need the belt. Um, she's the champ like Rhea Ripley does not need to hold the belt. I'm not saying that I don't want her to hold the belt. I'm saying her having the belt doesn't determine her importance, her power, or her value. Like she is loved and she's dominant and she's good in the ring without the belt. Plus she's won it like 24 times. So well earned vacation, and I kind of knew that this was going to be one where Tony was going to lose the belt because her whole theme, she's a woman in search of her murder, um, and she was challenging anyone and everyone, and she kept saying Statlander like was a powerhouse. It only made sense that Chris Statlander would take the victory. Um, and that's really all I have to say about this. I was very excited. Awesome match. Fantastic match. High octane from beginning to end.
Yeah. Yeah. There wasn't any real like slow spots in this one. It was just these ladies going ape shit on each other from start to finish. And I agree with you. Tekla relatively newly All Elite really got to show out here.
Yeah.
And I mean, her energy level and her intensity are really, really impressive. She's not the biggest woman in that ring, but she makes her presence big.
Yeah.
Um, and it was really impressive to see her kind of get to show off in this one and show out. My thoughts on this is it was a hell of a match with a surprising finish. I know you just made a case for why it makes sense that Statlander won, but after watching Tony fight off and like defend against like the likes of Monet, I'm not sure people saw Tony necessarily losing the belt here.
Yeah.
Like nobody would have been surprised if she managed to retain. So it was a bit of a surprising finish. It seemingly surprised Statlander and Tony. Tony was in shock afterwards, and Statlander was like, "Wait, I won?" And the fact that Statlander used Wheeler Yuta's seatbelt pin to win over Tony Storm, I mean, that's a bit of storytelling between like Wheeler Yuta and Statlander, who have had all kinds of a history. So it's like, I tend to think that people that want to say that like long-term storytelling is not a thing in AEW just aren't watching enough AEW to see a long-term story play itself out.
Yeah.
But yeah, excellent action, excellent storytelling, a surprising finish. What isn't to like? This was a phenomenal championship match. And, you know, one thing AEW is not suffering with is the title immobility. Like, these titles move. Like, I love that I can go into these matches thinking that I have an idea of who will win, but I never know for sure. And that makes it interesting. That makes it compelling. You know, that was the ding against Mercedes Moné's match against Riho, is that was for sure a foregone conclusion. But none of these other ones have been so, and that is wonderful. Like, I mean, what is the point of these PLEs and pay-per-views if not to surprise us with a new champion or, you know, move the belts around from time to time? I really like that. I love the title mobility and the opportunity mobility that seems to be pervasive in AEW. It's really nice, and it keeps it fresh. But yeah, fantastic performance from everyone involved in this match. It was really good.
Absolutely.
Yep. Another main event on a night of main events. Speaking of which, and this might, it's tough, but this is one of the matches of the night that I think might be the match of the night. It's really hard to say on this PLE though, or pay-per-view. And that is the 9th match of the night, AEW World Tag Team Championship, the defending champions Brodito versus the Young Bucks, the Don Callis family, which in this configuration consists of Josh Alexander,
Kurt Angle from Wish.
Thank you. And I believe Hechicero and Jet Speed, which is a young tag team formed of Kevin Knight and oh my god, I'm blanking on his name, and I love this guy. Why am I blanking on his name?
Speedball
Mike Bailey. There it is.
Yeah.
Speedball is phenomenal, and Kevin Knight is just getting better and better. Like, he's winning me over.
Fuck you, Speedball. Fuck you. Fuck you, MVP.
Wait, is he looking? Hey, Speedball,
Hey,
how you
Speedball,
doing? Hey. For those that know, you know. But oh man, this match is AEW leaning into what they do best, which is chain high spot multi-man matches. This is their defining wheelhouse. And every one of the teams in this massive 8-man 4 tag team for the World Tag Team Championships were on their A game.
Yeah.
The Bucks are, I mean, there's a lot of best wrestler in the world, but the best tag team in the universe, I think, is the Young Bucks. Like, if you can watch the Young Bucks in some of their matches and not conclude that they are probably the best damn tag team on the planet, I don't know what to tell you. They're ridiculous. They're absurdly good. And Jet Speed is a young set of up and comers who are very talented, and they are rising to every top like main event, appearance they make. They rise to the occasion. They are fucking phenomenal.
Yes.
And the Don Callis family, as a heel faction, is tremendous because they are actually threatening heels. Like everybody with the exception of like Rocky Romero, okay? Everybody in the Don Callis family is insanely talented individuals who are always a threat to the faces, like always. And Josh Alexander, the walking weapon, Kurt Angle from Wish, is tremendously talented, as is Hechicero. If people haven't seen Hechicero, I recommend taking a look at him. The display of the variety of incredibly talented luchadors. I know WWE got into that game with AAA and cool, but I mean, like, we are seeing some insane luchadors as well, and have been for a while since the Forbidden Door has been open and AEW has been working with CMLL. Like Hechicero is insane. We just learned that Mascaro Dorado is insane. We're about to also watch the ways or describe to you the ways that Bandito of Brodito is insane. These guys are phenomenal. Everybody here. And Brodito, I mean, I love Big Brody King. This dude is an absolute monster in the ring, and he does shit that just you wouldn't believe that he does, given that he's like 6'5" and 280.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And I'm sure there was probably like some thought that Brodito's win was a fluke, or that it was only because there was a distraction of the Hurt Syndicate. But this match will absolutely solidify Brodito not only as champions, but as a legitimate, not just thrown together tag team. I mean, holy shit. They end up getting the win, and against such other top talent like the Young Bucks and Jet Speed and the Callis family, their legitimacy is certainly secured.
Yeah.
Like I said, for me, this might be match of the night, but that is really difficult to declare on an AEW pay per view where it's just a string of matches of the night. There's so many excellent ones. But this one in particular was an absolute spectacle. Again, where I saw some shit I've never seen before. A good example would be Bandito doing a moonsault while holding a motherfucking ladder to two men on the outside of the ring. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, that Jesus, and that's just one of many. I mean, uh, uh, another one would be Big Brody King, and I forget who his victim was in this, but he walks out onto a ladder bridge and delivers the Gonzo bomb through the ladder onto the floor. I mean, Jesus, this was insane. There's nothing I can do. I could only recommend that you go watch it to really get all the crazy shit that was going on in this match. But absolutely a banger. And again, this is what AEW does best: is these huge multi-man matches where you just get a high spot after high spot after high spot, where beyond a certain point you're like, whew, I got to catch my breath. Hold on. Wait, I got to watch that back because I missed something because 10 things were going on at once. It's phenomenal. And those are my thoughts on this one.
I pretty much agree with you. It's gonna be crazy the second you hear the Young Bucks are gonna be in the match. It was full of high spots, and for me, it is definitely the match of the night. Uh, while I did say that the match 8 AEW's Women World Championship match was one of the best matches of the night, and I agree. For me, this match was the match of the night. Brodito looked amazing, and they looked like the champions. They looked like champions, and that I think is the point, or was the point for this match. And also, Brody isn't human. Yeah. He's a monster machine with legs. Uh, Fantastic match. Every last second of it. That's all
Yeah,
I had to say.
just off the chain. This match.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. That's pretty much it. Words can no longer do justice to what we're trying to describe here. You would just have to go watch it. It was that damn good. Um,
Absolutely.
and that leads us into the build main event of the night, which is the AEW World Heavyweight Championship match between defending Hangman Adam Page versus the proto star sockless Kyle Fletcher. Um, I'm sorry, I will never I'm not going to let him or Gunter live down wearing fucking loafers with no socks, you savages. Um,
Yeah. Nor
that
should you.
said, um, nor should I. You're right. Cheese
Yeah.
feet are gross. You sick freaks. And a couple of I want to say last week actually is Dynamite, where I think it was on Dynamite, where Kyle Fletcher was out there trying to cut a promo with Hangman, and the audience were like, "Where's your socks?" They get it.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
you're a main eventer, Kyle Fletcher. I'm sure you can afford some damn socks, you heathen. So, but I guess I'll digress. Although socks, you freak. Um. I believe I led off talking about that amazing tag team match, so I would like to let you lead off talking about your thoughts on Hangman Adam Page versus Kyle Fletcher.
This was another match with fantastic storytelling. Um, and I knew. Well, first of all, I thought it was really, really great that that Hangman made Fletcher agree to do it by himself. That way, we could focus on the in-work skill of both of these wrestlers, and that was the star of the show in this match. This match by itself, and like the two important things that I just wanted to say. I know you're gonna go more into detail about the match itself, so all I want to say is this by itself was a 6-star match. Um, this was definitely the main event. I cannot stress enough how Hangman is the champion we all I didn't know we even needed. Hangman is well on his way to being a Hall of Famer, a GOAT. Like he's amazing in storytelling, in character development, in his wrestling skills. He is the total package. He is like a like if this were a football team, he is definitely the quarterback. Like without question. And even with that being said, Kyle Fletcher is the future of AEW. I think I said it earlier in this podcast. I'm gonna say it again. People like Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay, absolute future of AEW of wrestling. And that's all I can say, man. This kid at only 26, get out of here at only 26.
Yeah.
Uh
Yep.
just this match alone, you could have sold a whole a pay-per-view just on that. And I guess they kind of sort of did. Fantastic match. Like fantastic. It is not my match of the night. My favoriteest match of the night is still match 9, but this one, chef's kiss. But like all of these matches, man. I think we all know what my total number is gonna be for the whole thing, but we'll get to that. What did you think of this match?
Fletcher took Page to the limit, both
Yeah,
physically, psychologically, and damn near to the time limit. They gave this an hour and it went just shy of 40 minutes. Like
yeah,
these dudes fought an absolute classic. Like this one should be voted in as a match of the year contender. Um, I agree with you. This would be a 6-star match.
yeah.
Using the star rating. If we go with Nick Nubs, it's like a 10. But uh again, this is another match that I don't know that I could do proper justice. Like see it. See this entire pay-per-view would be my advice. Um there were many incredible spots in this match, but the thing that finally brought this absolute banger, like when I say it was a 40-minute match, like some people are like, oh God, it's going to be long. We didn't know it. The only reason we were like, oh, what was that? Is it about the 30-minute mark? They gave an announcement that they're at the 30-minute time mark. And we're like, really? Because this thing was like a sprint. They were beating the crap out of each other. There were long stints where Fletcher was beating the crap out of Page because Page's neck was messed up because Fletcher put him through a table with a sheer drop brainbuster like off the ring apron um before we got to this PLE or pay-per-view. And so Hangman is out there with the kinetic or the kinesio tape on his shoulder. And so the whole time Page is sitting there fighting with a bum neck, and Fletcher's just beating the life out of him with Page, turning it around here and there, but his neck would eventually get the better of him, allowing Fletcher to just kind of take it to him. So what finally brought this epic to an end, because these guys were fighting like the only way either one of them was going to lose was to die, was Hangman getting Fletcher up for an avalanche Deadeye pile driver. And I just can't verbally describe what this looked like, but the bump that Fletcher took from this thing was sick. Like right on his damn neck from like 6 feet in the air. It was nuts. And then then Hangman steps outside onto the apron to deliver a massive buckshot lariat to finish him off. And he delivered a hell of a buckshot lariat, turned Fletcher inside out. And Fletcher, he's no small guy. He's like, 6'5", 6'6", and he's just packing on the muscle. Like when we first saw him as part of the United Kingdom, the United Empire, he was the small guy. And he has just done nothing but proceed to pack on mass. So now he's getting to be like this 6'5", 6'6" freaking beast. And so he got turned inside out by this buckshot lariat. Again, another nasty looking neck bump because he flipped around onto his neck and shoulder.
Yeah.
So every bit of the 40 minutes was action packed. And I can do nothing but agree that Kyle Fletcher is absolutely a star. Like this match, definitely, if he wasn't before, and I kind of think he was, but if he wasn't before, he for sure is absolutely a main event talent. Like this guy is crazy and crazy talented. And again, at only 26. My biggest criticism of Kyle Fletcher, other than his stupid sunglasses that have dangly shit in front of him, you can't even see out of those things, is that you're not wearing socks. Other than that, flawless. The dude is the proto-star he says he is. And he took the world champ to the absolute limit. This was the main event. It was, in fact, the main event. An excellent match.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
So, that all said, we come to the end of the show. It was a wonderful show. 5 hours, 10 matches, action from start to finish. Really, really good. I'm going to have to give this 9 out of 10 neck nubs. 10 being nearly perfect, and it nearly was. It loses a little bit for the second match of the night, which was kind of lackluster by comparison to every banger that was otherwise on the card. So I can't quite give it a perfect 10, but it was right up there. Hell, it might even be a 9.5. I mean, it was right there. And for me, AEW is absolutely setting the standard here in 2025 for what pro wrestling should be, and most especially what a pay-per-view or a PLE should be. They really are showing that they are where the best wrestle and giving fans absolutely their money's worth and then some. Like, there have been, what was it, Double or Nothing? We watched that in stages because after a bit we were wore out. Like, it was like, oh, this is so much. It's so intense emotionally.
Yeah.
And I hate to have to do this where we're filtering through like a WWE lens at AEW, because AEW is strong enough to stand on its own 2 feet, but being the product most known about that most people do watch, I can't help but contrast that with the lukewarm slop WWE served us on this same weekend with WrestlePalooza. So the long and the short of it, AEW is worth your time and money, and you won't regret watching or paying for it. AEW All Out is absolutely top tier. I cannot recommend more highly that people check out this pay-per-view. So that's my review.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 10 stars. Uh, it was there was not one match, even with match 2 being somewhat lackluster. It's lackluster in a sea of diamonds. And when you can get me to raise an eyebrow at Riho and Mercedes Monet in a match, if you could get me to pay attention to it and be like, "Oh, damn." Then you have done something truly amazing. There was even the story for match 2 was better than anything that I had seen uh from the PLE from WWE. So this was definitely a 10-star match. It was classy. It was I mean 10 star 10 star or 10 neck nub event show, whatever you want to call it. It was fantastic from start to finish. Also, 5 hours, 10 matches, and you still got me fucking interested. That's a 10 star. That's a 10 star. I think this was slightly better than All In, and I really liked All In. I think this was better because I felt like it was better produced. I feel like the matches were better produced. Um, and if the worst was match two again would have been a slobber knocker, a match of the night had it happened on the PLE for WWE. So I hate to compare the two, but who else am I going to compare it to? Especially when WWE does nothing but attempt to compare itself to its non-competitor. So, uh, 10 stars. 10 stars for this PPV.
I could see that respect. I also would like to address one thing and address an oversight that I gave. Neither of us caught it, actually. One, you made a good point just there about how even in the lackluster match, the story and the build-up were better than the stuff in WWE. I think you just displayed that AEW is competing with itself and WWE is competing with AEW
Correct.
because the reason I dinged it is that it wasn't as good as the rest of the matches of the night on its own show.
Yeah.
And you gave it props for still being better than what WWE gave them. So I think that makes the case that AEW is competing with itself to top itself week after week and just keep
Yep.
pushing the needle higher. The second thing that I wanted to mention was an oversight because of how packed this was. I think it got overlooked, and because of how good of the match was. After that amazing tag match that Brodito retained their championship, after the match, the Young Bucks are in the ring and they're looking dejected, and then out comes who we haven't seen for a long time is Jack Perry. And we're not sure how Perry and the Bucks are going to get along because they were allies. They were all part of the new elite. But Perry does a double leg takedown on Matt and proceeds to start punching him. And then, there's a bit of a fight that breaks out and the Bucks get the upper hand and they're about to BTE trigger Perry, but Perry lifts his head up and is smiling. And they're like, "What are you smiling about?" And it takes us to a video package being shown on the Tron, but for those that were watching not in the arena, it's just a video that we're being shown. And it shows that Jack Perry is out digging up a coffin and he's dragging it on the back of his truck. And then it shows Luchasaurus being given some sort of medical procedure And the long and the short of it is that he is shown to be the one that resurrected Luchasaurus. That is the explanation they're going with for the long stint of time that Luchasaurus was out, I believe, with like real bad pneumonia. And when we cut back to in the ring, Luchasaurus is standing behind the Bucks, and he double choke slams both of them, and then they end up rolling out of the ring. And Jack Perry approaches Luchasaurus, and he points at the kill switch belt that Lucha's wearing, and kills. So he takes it and he lifts it up. And Perry points to the crowd, so he yeets the kill switch belt out into the crowd, signaling that Luchasaurus and Jack Perry are back. The Jurassic Express is back. And I think they started playing the whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yes, they did.
And the crowd was losing it. It was such a cool spot, and I'm so sad that we kind of overlooked it because of everything else that was going on. But that was an absolute killer surprise. So we had the return of Pac, we had the surprise loss of Tony Storm, we had the surprise of Beth Copeland showing up, we had the surprise of Jack Perry and Luchasaurus reuniting. This thing was crazy good. So, I'm inclined to bump my 9.5 up to a 10.
Yeah.
This was absolutely insane, and given all of that, I think you're right. Just dinging it a half a point for a slightly lackluster match. I mean, yeah. So there you go. So I said it was top tier. You said it was absolutely top tier, and I don't think we can recommend this pay-per-view any more highly than we've done. So that has been our review of AEW's All Out. And I want to thank everybody who joined us for this episode. And I invite everyone to join us for our next episode, which will be us most likely resuming our coverage of WWE's Friday Night SmackDown this week. And until then, I don't think there's much for me to do but roll the outro.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Top Tier Wrestling. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the latest WWE news and shows. You can find us on all major podcast platforms, as well as our YouTube channel where we upload all of our episodes. You can also follow us on Instagram and X for updates and to join the conversation. Until next time, everyone, remember, wrestling is always better when it's top tier.